Well, hello, everyone. I am so excited. I'm Leslie Flowers, and this is another Mind Over Matter Mondays. Every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, live stream from LinkedIn and through YouTube. And we bring in guest teachers in personal and professional development and leadership each week to teach our attendees the basics of personal development from their point of view, which all are interconnected. We don't always resonate with the same teacher as someone else does, but by bringing in a different teacher who loves this work, who was either beginning or already seasoned and wants you to know what they know and what they've studied, makes it easier for you to understand, get clear about these concepts we've heard forever, and then apply them. And I think that is the best way through repetition for us all to learn. Don't you? I think it's wonderful. So I'm so excited about today because today's teacher, it's a little different. It's really, though, about managing mindset and managing your life, which of course begins with your mind, right? Because, your mind is everything. If you're going to take a breath, then your mind will say, take a breath, or will give the instruction to your brain, to your body, I'm going to take a breath now. So yeah, listen, everybody, I can't even get on LinkedIn today. Thank you, 𝙒𝙠𝙠𝙗𝙠. She has put in the LinkedIn, if you're in LinkedIn, the link to get onto YouTube. Good morning, Christy D. Williams. So happy that you're here. Thank you, Lay, for doing that. Christy is in Florida. Yes, good. We've got it up here twice. Good morning, Leanna Stock from Duluth, Minnesota. You're above 90. Well, I checked you out, or Chicago, the other day, and it was like in the mid 70s. I thought these people are really enjoying themselves, right? But I am unable to get up on LinkedIn. So if you will pass the word, that would be so wonderful to let others know. And it's also in the comments, so they likely know by now. Well, this is a really, really special show because it's going from working full-time, from paycheck to purpose. Now, you can make your work, your paycheck work, your full-time job, your purpose. You could choose that it is your purpose. Good morning, Ileana. So good to see you. You're on LinkedIn. Oh, that's a very good sign. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're doing from paycheck to purpose. So have you ever been in a full-time job and then decided you want to become an entrepreneur? And just think of today about what that journey was like, so you can hear today's guest, Nicole Angai-Galindo, her journey and the lessons, so that if you're thinking about it now, like, oh, I'm working full-time and I'd like to become an entrepreneur, or you're an entrepreneur and you're grappling with not having enough money to expand your business, you'll want to pay attention to this, because Nicole has highlighted the problems and challenges she faced, and then the complete fix, if you will, the completion of those things. And that requires mindset. You have to begin to think differently rather than, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. What am I going to do next? So I think that you will love this, and look for yourself in this. If you're looking to be an entrepreneur, let's say you're working full-time or you work part-time corporate, right? And you're working part-time in your job, you'll find things here that will help you move into your entrepreneur journey, should you choose, without making too many false trips in the wrong direction. Hi, Kimberly Lechnick. So glad you're here. Hey, Lisa Fevick is here. Lisa has a show. She's a registered dietitian, and she has a live stream panel every other Tuesday afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern, and sends out a beautiful newsletter. Be sure you subscribe and keep an eye out if you know anybody that is in menopause or premenopause or postmenopause or anything around menopause, or you live with someone that has these problems or these challenges. Lisa is your gal. She is the one to check in with. And so be sure you connect with everyone here. We have Sharon Rose Winfield, who's a guest teacher here. She is a master of SQ. Did you ever hear of SQ? Spiritual intelligence. She knows so many things. She is a guest teacher here. I have to look at the schedule and see when she's up next. There are over 20 guest teachers, and they select their Mondays, and they teach their basic focus, the things that they know work, that they're masterful at, that they've done a lot, or that they're absolutely in love with, and they just are starting out and they're wild to get it out there. And I spend an hour each week with the teachers, making sure that we understand what they're doing, boil it down to simple points that you will absorb quickly. Linda Meyer is here. Hello, Linda Meyer. Linda Meyer is a guest teacher. Her specialty is dealing with narcissists, past, present, and future. And she has a wonderful newsletter and puts out really great things. So you may not have a narcissist, but there may be one next door. In fact, that was the title of her presentation. Because narcissists look like everybody else, but there's things about them that you can observe, which she shared with us, so that you're on alert to not get pulled into the cycle that seems to occur when a narcissist is involved in a relationship. We have Coach Carrie Willis, amazing with finance, amazing with kids. Like, she has so many wonderful areas of expertise. I don't know really which one to pick, except that I know she has all the certification and the know-it-all, the wherewithal for finances. And my goodness, don't we need someone who can help us plan? Certainly for us boomers, we women, wives, didn't even look at the books. I'm serious. And then after a long-term marriage, when the marriage broke up, which so many do, 50% of first marriages, 60 to 75% of second marriages, all the baby boomers are left women without knowing what to do about money. It was only a few years ago that I actually got into my own finances seriously. I didn't need to. While I was married, my husband did all that. So while that seemed nice, it doesn't seem so nice when that's over. Right. Thank you. Like my new glasses? Thank you. All right. There's Mind Over Matter. And I got to get going. Oh, it's 11:11. Regard everybody. That's 1111. Remember, just because we don't know yet how something works doesn't mean it's not working. I just let you sit with that. So invite people to come to the stage. Please share this. You can take the 3 dots at the bottom of the LinkedIn screen. And I don't know, I think people are having a lot of trouble. They must be having trouble. We are in Mercury retrograde. I want to see if anything has happened here. I don't even know that it even said that I was live. Let's see. Let's join and see. Okay, we're in. Oh, yeah. Good. Okay, we're good. So sometimes it takes longer, and I'm grateful that there'll be people catching up, right? So you're welcome, Linda Meyer. You're absolutely welcome. And I think it's time now to bring up our guest. And most of you know this woman. This is Nicole Angai-Galindo, and she is the founder and owner of Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing House. So come on up here and hey, you landed on 1111, Ashif. That is auspicious. I'm saying it. And here is our beautiful Nicole. How are you this morning, Nicole?
I am great. So nice to be here. on stage with you after some time and see all the familiar faces out there in the audience. I'm doing
Uh,
well.
awesome, awesome, awesome. That's phenomenal, and you look wonderful and relaxed. And I'm really excited about today's conversation. I've thought about this because I moved from corporate to entrepreneurship, and I did some of the things that you're saying to do, right? And I made some of the mistakes too, right? But the thing is now I, after talking with you about this journey that you took over the last few years, that I took the same journey. And so in the audience, if you're recognizing things that you also did, let's see what Coach Carey has to say here. The journey from employee to entrepreneur requires a mindset adjustment. It's worth it. It is. Well, we'll see. Is it? Is it every day it's worth it? Is it sometimes? Anyway, so let's bring this. Tell us a little bit about you. I mean, I can just bring this in. Let me bring this in and see if I can make us a little bit bigger because you don't need that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here we go. Okay. So tell us a little bit about you, Nicole, and in general, things that maybe we don't know about you, and what actually attracted you, the first thing that attracted you into your current business, which is publishing. Please.
That second one's a good question. I don't think there's too much that people don't know about me because I share so much of myself on social media, the different parts. I do hail from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, and I came to the United States when I was 19. Um, and I often share with a suitcase full of clothes and $100 in my pocket. I think that that's necessary, especially when I try to inspire people that it is possible to have and accomplish your dreams. Um, I am a transitioned from corporate to entrepreneurship hybrid publisher. And what got me into this? Oh, an accident really, and a rediscovery of how much I have always enjoyed the written word, uh, the development of the storytelling behind it, and basically getting to know the person behind the pen.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And this is the banner on her LinkedIn, on your LinkedIn page. And there's a lot here. And I would love everybody to get to know you, a couple of things about you and your response to the pictures that I've selected. I have a very special reason for that. So I'm going to make us, you and me, a little bit smaller for this. So first of all, who is the number one employee in your company?
Oh, that's an easy one. That's Chief of Staffy Nelly, who in this picture was not being a very good Chief of Staffy because I was quite busy that day and was about to jump on a show and went outside to get her from her little morning excursion. And she had proceeded to dig a bunch of holes in the backyard. So I had to clean her up and then go clean myself up again to get on the show. But Chief of Staffy is very good at her job. She's very good at ensuring that I take breaks and get some exercise in. And she likes her Petco runs and her treats. So there's a lot of motivation there to make sure I keep the business running so she gets a paycheck.
Yes, yes, yes. And I assume her paycheck isn't in US dollars, but it's more like in treats and things like that.
Yeah, she has a share or two in Petco.
In Petco. I love it. So tell me, who is this beautiful woman right over here in the upper left?
With me, the one with me,
Yes.
that is my absolutely gorgeous baby sister. We are just 18 months apart.
Wow.
She lives out in Canada, and this year we lost our mom 9 years ago.
Oh,
So my father still lives in Trinidad. So we're very scattered. Um, she's my everything. She's my confidant. Um, Probably one of the few people that could really just tell me what they're thinking, um, and know that I would take it at face value. So I trust her with my life.
that's phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. Hello, Judy Schnidman. I'm so glad that you're here. I hadn't seen you in a few weeks, and it's lovely to see you. Bobby Lee Clark is here. He has a 12 noon live stream. Excuse me for interrupting, but I want to make sure that people know. And this is Bobby Lee is a mindset and money coach. Noon Eastern Thursdays live stream. 30 minutes, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal information. And we also have Catherine Chadwick, who is a guest teacher right here on Mind Over Matter Monday. So happy to see you, Catherine. I know you can't always be there. And Leigh is saying hello to Chief of Staffy. I love that. So this is your latest picture. And what's going on over here with all the green and everything? Because I know you, oh, no. Tell us what we're looking at here and what's in the background. And that is something that's unusual for people who don't know you. Tell us about this picture here while I move this out of the way.
So the one with all the greenery?
No, the one below in the red shirt. What is behind you? What is that structure?
Oh, okay. So that is our pergola. And this is me sporting one of my latest colors for my Guiding Brilliant Writers book club t-shirt.
Uh-huh.
And whenever I go outside to take pictures, the sun just absolutely kills me. I'm always squinting. So I'm standing under the pergola that my husband built solo. Yes, solo. He painted every single one of those 2x4s and 4x4.
Oh.
And I would watch him put 2 ladders, the length of the pieces, and prop them one side, up the next step, one side. I do not know how this man did it, but he built this single-handedly and created a beautiful outdoor space that I am able to work at every day, well, weather permitting.
And one of the things that is so beautiful about this, that her husband does that, and she does a lot of plants and everything outdoors, is that now that you are an entrepreneur and you're not in the car driving, to work and working for somebody else and coming back, you're home a lot. And so it seems like this is a lovely interrupt, right? I mean, when Nellie needs to take a walk, Nick takes a walk, right?
Yes. It is so very necessary, because that was definitely one of the challenges making the switch. It's
Excellent.
The loneliness and the need for an environment change every so often.
Absolutely. Hello, Salim. So I'm glad you're here. And Ola Dukan, we're very happy to see you here. And so we are looking at from paycheck to purpose. And this is about how to navigate from corporate into entrepreneurship and anything that happens around that. Okay, so Salim says, good evening. He must be on the other side of the world. If it's 11:30 in the morning, now let's see, it's around 11:30 or so in the Philippines and China. So maybe it is in the middle of the night or very early morning where you are, Salim. All right, is everybody ready? I want you to ask lots of questions and really be thinking about your own journey from entrepreneurship and into entrepreneurship from corporate. And what is fascinating about the challenges that you go through? You might not even have thought about it. I certainly didn't. I've never worried about money. I don't know why. I think it's just my nature. It always comes somehow. Money always showed up for me, but that hasn't always been true, but mostly when I was young. Maybe it was my parents. I don't know. It probably was. Okay, so let's get into this. Thank you for that. And this is what we have on tap. So Nicole's going to walk us through. This was the process. We talked about this for an hour. Really, what made her? What was about the decision? Where did money and paycheck and purpose fit in? What about the overwhelm? What about pricing? And what about expanded reach? So let us begin right here. And I will ask you, Nicole, what made you were working? How did you come up with the decision to leave your corporate job and move over into the sideline business that you already had started going as for extra? So please.
Well, I gotta say, exhaustion. Can I leave there?
Exhaustion, is that what you said?
Yeah. You
Okay.
know, what I was doing was a hustle on the side of a full-time job. So I was starting to burn out. I was starting to not be able to do the two things that I did love doing, which was being a part of my team in the elevator company and establishing Guiding Brilliant Writers to 100%. In fact, at that time, it wasn't Guiding Brilliant Writers, it was the Gifted Bipolar Writer. Hadn't gone LLC yet. And it was, quite frankly, exhausting doing that for about 12 months straight.
So part of the reason was, well, okay, so during this time, and let me make sure I understand, not only are you working full time, you're driving to and from work.
Correct.
And then you have managed, or you started Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing. We call it that now, even though we know what it was. I mean, I know what it was, but it's a mouthful. So I always say Guiding Brilliant Writers. So that's part of the overwhelm. And then you worked, what, at least 4 hours, I would guess, every night. So the decision had to do with overwhelm. What else? There has to be something stronger than the overwhelm, or something in addition to the overwhelm, that made you choose to focus all your energy on your entrepreneur venture.
Yes, absolutely. I think when you come to a point like that and you realize that you cannot run yourself ragged anymore, and there are things suffering, such as your family or relationships, you know that you have to make a decision. And oftentimes the decisions we make are guided by logic, in the terms of the fear of probably the biggest thing that sits on all of us, which is financial sustainability. So,
so then why would you make, so where I'm really headed with this is that that is a fear. So what I want to know is, besides the overwhelm,
right,
you were doing something that was stronger. Did you not have a real love for what you're doing? What is it that actually made you make that decision? Was it what actually like flipped a switch so that you would do it?
Definitely my love for it. There came a point where one was more fulfilling than the other. And it also offered the possibility of a quality of life that I wanted to give a try. So when I realized that I started waking up in the mornings wanting to work at the publishing and not the elevator company as much, I knew that it was time to make a decision. So it was a combination of things. Yes, it came to that point as well, but it did start with feeling exhausted and overwhelmed, and understanding that my mental capacity and my time would not allow for me to do both to the best of my ability. Yes. And then the next step was definitely saying to myself, well, it's now or never. I understood that I was approaching midlife, sorry, maybe a little over midlife. And that I was
Sorry.
discovering something new about myself, right? And the pull was very strong. So that, for me was the decision. That was the decision right there. I mean, as it went on, it absolutely became the opportunity at some point to take my earnings and the legacy I want to leave beyond that of what I was doing when I worked for someone else.
Got it. Got it. Oops. So let me just fix this from current slide. There we go. There we go. Okay. So now, as you went through this, you were moving into an area where it had to be a little nerve-wracking because you were working the part-time business and you were generating some income, but you had a full-time paycheck. So yes. What was the feeling? I mean, the anxiety, the fear about that paycheck, how did all that hit you? Because you walked away from a stable paycheck and allowed your desire and the thing that you're really meant to do to have perfect faith in it, regardless of the hardships that were coming. So talk to us about the money.
Yes. Before we go there, Kimberly
yes.
has a question
regarding,
pretty much the decision.
How did you know that writing was your definite purpose? Good question.
Yes, I like that. And it does tie into the decision, Kimberly. So thank you so much for asking.
Yes.
Writing is where it started because I had co-authored a few books before I published my own. And this was all within the first year. What became my purpose was actually wanting to provide others, especially new writers, with the experience, the empowerment, the crazy bump in confidence that writing and publishing gave me. So that was what I decided, or what rang through as my true purpose. My true purpose was to be able to show people that it is possible.
Yes.
Because so many think it is not. And then show them through example what can be attained if they so choose to take that first step and perhaps fulfill a part of their dream, which is publishing.
Yes, yes.
So the money. All right, so let's talk
about... Wait, we got another question for you. Let's just take a... You mind? I caught one too from Judy Schnidman. Hey, Judy. So how did you overcome the fear, insecurity of not making money from the entrepreneurial venture? And then we're going there, so you can answer that now if you'd like to just touch on that. That would be fantastic. But how did you overcome, and do you ever overcome it?
I don't think you ever fully overcome it. That is a damn good question. And I think it is one of the biggest reasons people do not start this journey, or they start the journey and before they can give themselves a chance to even begin to see ROI, they pivot back. And I will not say fail, because it is not a fail if you decide that you do not want to carry on with your business. Okay. In fact, it is smart for you to know if the time comes that it is not sustainable. Not being sustainable does not mean that you do not want this and did not give it your all. So don't get that confused. So where the money aspect was concerned, I was fortunate in two ways. One, I had some money saved. It simply was not enough. And I did not know that going in. I also have a husband who earns an income. So those are two things that I think people really need to consider when they think about making this transition. Right? what is your income stream? How much can you afford to cut down your income stream to at least live life's basics? And
But you didn't do that, right? So is that, so that's what I want people to know is, yes, we know this now, but yeah, so more to what Judy was, back to sort of what Judy is saying, you know, did you overcome it? Is it still something you're facing? What was that like for you? You know, like, because it's a little scary, I would think. Please.
I'm 90% overcome it, because the fraction of the 10%, okay, has to do more with the long term, meaning the retirement plan, and even the security of better health benefits, and things like that. So I knew going in that there were certain things that I was going to give up, and I was willing to give those things up. And I told myself, you have 6 months to try to get this off the ground. Right? I gave myself a time frame that if in 6 months I was not able to generate income, even if that income was not covering all of the expenses, then I was going to have to reconsider going back to work, maybe part-time, not necessarily full-time, to supplement. Because I think one of the biggest things is starting what it is you want to do once you've discovered your purpose, alongside your current earnings. It will be hard, but you need to make sure that you're not worrying about how you're going to pay the bills while you are pursuing what you love so much. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to pursue it 100% of your heart. And being able to pursue it with 100% of my heart and not having that fear, I think is what allowed me to build so rapidly, because I was able to give 100% of myself to everything that I was doing and to the people that I was working with. So the fear is there. It's going to be so real in the beginning. But I promise you that as time goes by, as you experience more, as you learn more about your expenditure and how to delegate your money, and better understand your market and your prospects, etc., that fear is going to start to dissipate. And a big part of it for me as well was, you know what? In the first year, I earned a third of what I earned when I was working full time. It's the second year, I'm forecasted to double what I made in the first year. So I had to separate the two. I have to look at the business scaling and know that it's successful, not in comparison to what I was making.
But you didn't do that to begin with, am I correct?
Oh, hell no. I kept saying, well, if I'm not earning what I was earning, then this doesn't make sense. This is bullshit. I need to go back to my job. Like, what am I doing? Right? You know, the fear of saying, well, you know what? No, maybe I don't want to go out tonight and drop $100 for dinner, which we only did once a month anyway, because I don't know when I'm going to need that money next week. Or this is a really good one. The really good one was this. When I was earning what I was earning, all the bills were on auto pay, including the mortgage, of which we were paying more than against the principal. I didn't think about it. I did not think about it. I didn't think about if I went to the store and wanted to buy something. I was not thinking about that. I have since, and this is over time, okay, guys, when the savings started to run low, because that is kind of like your initial investment, because that's what's paying your everyday bills while you're establishing your income for the business. When that started to run low, one by one, I took everything off of autopay and started managing my bills again.
Now, let me ask. I want to ask you about the overwhelm part, and forgive me for interrupting you, but what occurred to me, you had overwhelm when you were in corporate and you had the side business, right? Because you were working 8 hours, driving 2 hours, and then working 4 hours, let's just say most every night.
Yeah.
Now you've let go of the full-time job. Now you're working to build your business. And so when now that you're in overwhelm, because you're adding now into your day the taking off of the automatic payments, so you still have a level of overwhelm. This is where I want to ask you if what your thoughts are about a coach or a business coach at this point. Did you have one? I'm just kind of curious about that.
That's a very good question. I went into this thinking I didn't need one. I know what to do. Yeah, that was so far from the truth. Yes, I have some business acumen from the years of being in corporate. My mother was an entrepreneur as well. She owned her own business. In fact, a number of people in my family do. So I had examples of. There are just things you don't know. It's as simple as that.
That's right.
Your personal taxes is not your business taxes. Okay. This is a very good one that overwhelmed me and that really came back to nip me in the butt good. When I started, I decided, I want to save. So what I'm going to do is my StreamYard, I'm going to pay for it for the full year. My Zoom, I'm going to pay for it for the full year. I'm not doing the monthly price. It's going to charge me an extra $5 a month. I mean, that's what I do with my car insurance, right? You pay the 6 months premium. So I thought I was saving, except guess what? The cash flow has to be steady. So, now here I am a year later and I'm like, okay, so that's why people pay $15 a month and don't drop $300 up front.
That's right.
That was such a learning curve for me. And for any entrepreneur, you really got to sit down and budget. Yes. Budget from the very beginning. Budget before you even open the LLC.
Which you didn't do, which you did not do, right?
No, I didn't do any of that. And so on top of everything else of now running a business and personally losing my puppy of 18 years, within the first couple of months of opening, I was so emotionally distraught and lost, right? I was already trying to focus on producing high quality work, finding clients, managing the bills and the due dates, deciding how much I want to pay above the minimum. There was so much juggling going on, right?
Which fits into the overwhelm, right?
I think so.
And I would like to say hello to Angie Alexander and read this. I have had the same experience of being much more aware of spending and what we really need. When I worked in corporate, I didn't really think about it. That is the point. And Angie runs a very successful Sage Leadership Clubhouse show. Now, you guys know me. I am diehard LinkedIn, but there is one Clubhouse place I go once a week, and that's to Angie's room, right? You guys know I like to stay here, but so Angie, thank you so much for making time. So I'm going to go back to, you're welcome, Bobby Lee. Yeah, it sounds like a good principle to keep. Well, of course, to keep them separate. The whole, and I don't want you all to think that I'm bringing this up to point out the mistakes that Nicole made. No.
It wasn't separate in the beginning, Bobby Lee. Okay. And for a very long time too. It was only the beginning of this year that I went out and opened up everything. And, I'm running to the post office after that. I'm going to be paying with my Guiding Brilliant Riders company debit card. Okay. So it took time to get there. In the beginning, you don't think about it. Everything's all mixed up. Not good. Not good at all. You can't track anything that way.
Right. And as I said, it's to understand that we've all been through parts of this. So what are you seeing for yourself, for those who are in the audience, that you're getting? Because look, for me, I could just share this quick example. As a boomer, as I said earlier in the show, my husband did all that. So I never paid much attention. And a couple of years ago, the most stunning thing, and Bobby Lee brought this up on his show, Thank you, Angie. You're so kind. We have such a good time there. So I hired a business coach. I'd had coaches, but not a business and finance coach. Well, within a week, I was able to add $500 a month to my income by clearing out all those little programs that we had to have that was monthly, like Animoto. Remember Animoto? Oh my goodness, that was the be all and end all of all graphics, and that's how you put videos together. I had $500 a month going out. Now, I wasn't working in corporate, but I was retired. I had become retired, right? So, and I've been teaching at no charge and stopped coaching, do a few other things. So she showed me a profit and loss page, and I had to track all my expenses, and I found all this money, right? So I guess it doesn't matter, Nick, when you discover these things. The whole purpose of this show is to say that we all go into this for passion and desire, I think, right? Because we want to live a bigger and better life, but there are pitfalls. And one of them is the fear of poverty, managing the money, being overwhelmed with new tasks. You gave up the work. Now you've got the new ones that Nick has pointed out. So let's talk a little bit. Oh, can we do a quick sponsor update, please? Do you mind? Okay, good. All right, let's do this. So very, very honored that our first sponsor was Mr. Stanley Green with Power Thinking Corporation. Let me hit this thing to go. So Power Thinking Corporation is a CBT-based personal development program now available on your app. Each day you'll receive daily reminders, and every Wednesday there are 2 lives with Stanley teaching Power Thinking, and also other ways to connect with business friends. Go to your app and you can download a free trial. Just look for the P with the sun behind it. And oops, wait, it always does that. Now, our other sponsor who I'm really excited to have this year is the 2350 Network. It is an off-platform personal and business and professional development consortium of business owners and friends who meet to have business discussions, do think tanks, and twice a year, there's a wonderful 2-day summit. I am a sponsor. And each year we have a number of different speakers, which I've been a part of. So if you would like to check it out, they are in the early bird pricing. It's a small investment. You can either go to creativelivingideas.com, or you can click on the QR code and it will take you to the website so you can find out about it. Are you involved in it this year, Nicole? Because you have been in the past. Are you going to be part of this summit this year?
I am not quite sure yet.
Okay.
I am quite booked for the rest of the year, but I did present in it. And so, I've attended them as well. I'm very happy that I decided to join the network. I've met some amazing people. There are a lot of collaborations going on.
Yes.
And there is a ton of actual support.
Yes, absolutely. So you can be part of the 2350 network by going to the 2350 network. I think it's .org, but it could be .com. So there is a small investment and it is off LinkedIn. And so it's an opportunity, but you could be a speaker or a sponsor at this event and you get to meet everybody. And it's been going, I think this is the 7th one. There's one in the spring and one in the fall. Okay. So now let's go on. We're going back to you, my dear. Here we go. We're back to here. And let me move us and make you bigger for the reels. All right. So we're at the pricing. Okay. So let's talk about, $500 is a lot, Bobby Lee. I just was blown away. But the point was, just like Nicole said, and Angie pointed out, it doesn't matter. You will do that to save the money and not to worry about it. But when you give up that full-time job, it does a big shift in your life, doesn't it, Nick?
No. And that pricing, and to Bobby's comment, I'll say this really quick. Be very careful when you start a business and you start comparing yourself. Make sure that you're comparing apples to apples. I'm in year 2 of business, technically as the LLC year 3 doing this. Do not look at somebody else that is 13 years in business, who to them $500 at this point is a drop in the bucket. At one point in time, it was the full bucket for them too.
So how did you, as you're navigating overwhelm, you're running out of money, you could use some more clients, I'm sure, right, to make those forecasts, because I know you said after a while you began forecasting exactly what you needed to do to make sure each quarter you generated the amount of income, which is really beginning with the end in mind. Thank you, Stephen Covey, for that, right? It's picturing and visualizing, well, where do I want to be at the end of this year? Well, I want to make exactly this, or this, which is, a percentage of what I made in corporate. So talk to us about the first time you felt comfortable raising your prices, because you are such a giving person. And I agree with you not to compare yourself to anybody else, because that's the law of relativity, right? Everybody has different value, and there are people that charge more or less, so they're not even on the table. What was it like when you first raised your prices? Because you had the same prices when you were working both, right? So I want to know what it was like. What went on inside of you when you raised your prices? What were you thinking and feeling?
There are a bunch of things. I was nervous. I was worried that people would say no. I was pleasantly surprised people said yes. I was reminded of the people throughout this journey who said you charge too much. I was reminded of the people that said you charge too little. And those who said you charge too little in a very caring way, and the ones that get up on stage on live shows and tell you, well, why aren't you charging your worth? You're supposed to be charging your worth. And so what happens is entrepreneurs who've been there a little bit longer are really not serving the ones that are new to this when they speak that way, because we were all there once upon a time. I dare to say there isn't a single entrepreneur out there who did not doubt in the beginning that they had established enough authority to charge what they believed they should be charging, or even with researching what the market is charging, because the market always shows you 3 to 5 years, this is the range they're charging. 5 to 20 years, this is the range they're charging. I didn't know any of that going in. I don't even know what people were charging going in. I was charging what I thought that I should charge.
That's
and
right.
Based off of what a couple previous publishers I had published with charged, right? And so I also started the standard of also giving what I considered my full experience. And so one was not in relation to the other. And that became more evident as time went along. And I thought to myself, if I am providing this service, right, and this is where a bit of comparative work does matter, but not in a negative way, is understanding what your competitor's edge is, because you need to know what your edge is too.
And what is your edge?
My edge is quite simply, I am providing an experience. There isn't a single person who has worked with me, that has had a negative word to say about the experience. 90% of my work are referrals. And 3 of the first solo authors that signed with this company signed for multiple books. So that says a lot. You have established your authority by the time you have been working your side hustle and transitioned. What I kept thinking in that first quarter, in that second quarter, even into the third quarter last year, I'm still establishing my authority. Why is anybody going to pay me to work with me? I don't mean anthologies. I was doing that. Why is a solo author going to pay me $2,500 to work with me? Why? And
So,
today I am charging $5,000 to work with me for a solo book. So the thing is, it's what I could have always charged. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe
and
that go ahead.
this is the development of confidence. You see, confidence to charge those prices in the work that I do is a byproduct of consistent achievement.
Yes,
So as you completed these anthologies successfully, and by the way, I see your strength as always exceeding expectations. Very rare. So as you were building confidence in your ability and your deservability, and you were getting the positive feedback, the muscle of confidence now is growing in direct proportion to its use. That's when you raise your prices.
Yes.
Now we have another slide. So tell us quickly about the expanded reach, and then I want to get to this because time is running out, and that slide has all the key takeaways. Not to rush you.
No problem. So talk to me about expanded reach in which terms. So
social media, I think, and followers and networking and stuff.
So I had always been doing my social media, but from a different standpoint, not from that of the company. So it was a very natural flow into it because people had already known who Nick was to some degree. The next part was definitely being picky about which communities I wanted to join because they had to align with my values and what it is my publishing company was putting out there in terms of standard, right? I think the last part about expanded reach is understanding as well that your reach goes far beyond the screen. Social media is only one part of it. I have volunteered and attended a lot of in real life events outside of social media, right? So it's easy to start here when you start the business, but for your business to keep growing and scaling, you need to network in real life. That is very important.
Yes. Yes. All right. Here are today's takeaways. And so let's go through them briefly and run us through what each one is. We've got only a few minutes left now, Nicole. The first one is anything you want to add to this, okay? Start your entrepreneurial business while you're still working full time. Why is that a good idea? And why are you glad that you did that rather than just walking away from corporate and then starting a publishing business?
Oh goodness, can you imagine in the first 6 months if I all of a sudden ran through my savings and was unable to pay my mortgage? Now, on top of starting a business, I'm trying to not lose my house. These are not things that you want to have on you while you are trying to start up your business, that is for sure. I mean, when you think about forecasting all investments and expenditures, I did not do that.
Right. Me
Okay.
either.
I wasn't sitting down going, oh, it takes $5,000 a month to run this house, because I wasn't even thinking about it right before I made the switch. I'm thinking, well, the mortgage, the lights, the cable. Yeah, what about the incidentals? The things that come up, the things that are necessary, like the cesspool needs to be pumped or the AC broke down. I mean, these are real things that happen and you have no control over when it's going to happen. Invest in a business coach, forget it. I did that sporadically. I had a business coach for a couple of months here and then maybe one there. I was listening to what everybody else was saying. And research your business coach well. Make sure they have a proven track record, not just on social media, but that you can one-on-one actually have their client agree to meet you on Zoom and tell you exactly what they did for them. Anybody could write a recommendation these days. Be very careful. Building your authority, again, I want you to understand, building your authority is not just from your business. You build authority through your clients. First and foremost, it is that your client walks away feeling not only like they have received the best value that they possibly could have for what they paid you, right? But without a doubt, if somebody says, I need a publisher, they're going to say you. I cannot tell you how many people introduce me in DMs that say, my friend needed a publisher. You're the first person I thought of. That is your authority speaking for you when you're not in the room. In terms of raising your prices, study the market. See what the people around you are charging. Do not go off your gut feeling. Start there. Really start there. And remember to keep checking that expenses go up, your prices are going to have to go up. That's just the way it is. Take it or leave it. Mm-hmm. Better have a backup plan, because you know what? Entrepreneurship is not always sustainable. I know that any given moment, I could go and take on a part-time job. I could even do a remote part-time job. And can I go back to my full-time job and say, you know what? I'm just going to stick to my wheelhouse of anthologies, do 2 a year, which is where I was? Absolutely. Do not back yourself into a corner, and do not feel as if you're backed into a corner. That is a horrible feeling. I just want to say one more thing.
Okay.
I wanted to be able to meet everybody where they're at in this experience of me teaching what I have learned. That is why it is broken down this way. All right. You might be on any one of these steps in this journey. So this is not it's only for people who are startups or only people who are thinking about it. If you are somewhere on one of these, right, and you're having trouble, you're stuck moving to the next one, talk to people who have done it and have proven track record of having done it. Next month, we are booked for 10 months of the year already. We have 2 openings. That's it.
That is so wonderful. Well, I know you've all enjoyed this, and we are ready to move on. It's noon, but we a couple of things really quickly that we want to do here, and then everybody go to Shawn Michaels' room if you're available. Fix a sandwich, I want you to connect with Nick. You can connect with her certainly on LinkedIn, and every Tuesday night every other Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, live on LinkedIn, she brings in the person behind the pen. So if you write with Nick, one of the benefits is that you will get to be on her show and talk about your book and the process. And this is what I mean about exceeding explanation. No publisher does what Nick does. And I've tried to encourage her to do less, and she will not hear anything about it, not one thing about it. But just tell us a touch about what there's an opportunity coming up in Q4. And just tell us a tiny bit about that. That's the Legacy Anthology. And so if you're interested in that, what do people need to know, Nick?
Also, this is to my family. My story is my legacy. It is now the Legacy Chronicles. This is the 4th volume. And it is back, quite frankly, by popular demand. Because after the first one, people asked if we're doing it again. So now it's become pretty much an annual Thanksgiving release to give you time to get it in. To give you time to get it for the holidays. A lot of people tend to give it their family members and friends. A lot of people return to write because you're building your legacy every single year. And, one of the things is 10 years down the line, you might pull every single chapter out of your book and decide to do a full book of just your legacy, right? So taking it in small parts is a lot easier than trying to recollect the 10 last years of your life. People have already joined up, and we are going to be ending the author's call. I believe we kick off early September, mid-September. Okay. So you pretty much have until the end of August to sign up for the book. It's $100 non-refundable deposit. It's $475 to join. I'll send you the author package so you can see everything included. And trust me when I tell you, you're going to walk away with triple your investment in terms of value. You could just ask any of the writers that have worked with me. And I could say that because I trusted that.
Yes. And the thing here is that you may not be ready to do it now, or you've been thinking about it. This is not any kind of pressure. This is an opportunity to think about it. Connect with Nick if you haven't already. Take a look at the things she's done. When you're ready and willing, she'll be there. So, Nick, what is the big takeaway for today to everybody that's been here? What is it, if there was one thing that you wanted to tell everybody that you wish someone had told you before you walked out the door of your corporate job, what would it be?
Preparation is everything. Every single one of us has the capacity to be a successful entrepreneur. But you cannot just move on dreams. You have to move on data, on research, on grounded findings. Every single body, whether or not it was the boomers days to today, there are certain fundamentals in starting a business, and you need to know those.
Would you say that that was your biggest lesson?
God, yes.
Okay.
Had I been proper prepared, there is no doubt I would have been much further along on the journey now.
Got
I
it.
do not say that in any disqualifying way to myself in the least.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. It's a joy working with you. I am a line editor, a contractor with Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing House, and I also a writer in the anthologies. And it's just been so much fun gathering people together this way. And I would keep an eye out on Nick. She has some plans for writers that she hasn't disclosed, but I happen to know about. So keep your ear to the ground. So Nicole, thank you so much for being here, my dear. I'm going to move you into the studio and I'll be there in just a moment. Okay.
Have a great day, everyone, and thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody. So we're going to bring this back up here and I can be bigger this time. There we go. Next week, we have Kimberly Lechnick. She will be our Mind Over Matter guest teacher. I'm excited to have Kimberly back again. Always an amazing, amazing conversation. And this Friday, you know, I do Think and Grow Rich, Principal Leadership and Laws. This Friday and the next 2 Fridays, we're in between 12-week sessions. Last Friday, we did a deep dive into goal achievement and the 12 laws of achievement. This Friday, we're going to get inside the 7 universal laws, right? These are laws that are working on your behalf that you may not have known about, which remove a lot of anxiety in our lives. Once we learn about them, we realize that the universe has our back. And with that, my friend, and then we'll start again, but we're in the recap and transition in between quarters. All right, everybody. So have a phenomenal week. Reach out to me if you need anything at all. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that to myself. Oh yeah, here's where I wanted to go. And everybody head on over to Shawn Michaels' show if you can. Please grab a sandwich and we'll see you there. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Nick.